Hello my fellow gamers and Banished fans, welcome again to Perafilozof's Let's Plays. Today I'll be starting my new village, which is going to be a farming village. I've gone through maybe 2 dozen map seeds and found one to be particularly useful for making a farming city. Now let me just type this in. 707. I will be using, of course, valleys, medium terrain size, mild climate, because I do not wish to make it too hard on myself by going with a harsh climate if I want to use farms and orchards. And let's think about it logically. Who in their right mind would farm in a place where you have harsh climate? It would be like expecting people in Alaska to plant banana trees. It's just nonsense. So I will keep it at the mild climate. Disasters will stay on and starting conditions hard as usual. As for the city name, I think one of my subscribers posted a name. Let me just see which one was it. Ah yes, the name that was suggested was Perafilozof. I quite like it. So let's start Perafilozof. It is supposed to be a farming village and an orchard village. I still call that farming since the workers are just farmers in either the farm or the orchard. Now let's take a look at the map. I'm starting off next to a river on my right and a big lake on to my left. But I do have a huge flat area here, interrupted by this mountain a little bit. Also at the top, pretty much the same, until I hit the small river. Across the river I have small patches of empty ground, while over here it's pretty messed up with a lot of small rivers and this big one. But there is a big slice of flat space going all the way down to the edge of the map. On the left side I do have this small patch here, but it is mostly ruined by these huge mountains and the lake, so not too much flat ground, but this part here with a river going vertically through the entire map is pretty sweet for farming, and I do start right here in the middle. Let's get some interface going on. Let's see, we are going to need this, definitely. This, so. The map, not really. This, most definitely. No city works without this. And I am starting to use this more and more. Let's save the camera location for the start at 1. That would be Z. I will start playing at 2 speed, and because I'm trying to get this to be as best as possible, I will probably play often at 2 speed, but whenever there is nothing going on I will speed it up to 5 or maybe even 10 speed. Now, as this is a hard start, there are no seeds available, so I will have to trade for them. Having this river right here provides a quick access for a trade dock for me to get some seeds early on. Now, of course, I'll be starting on with wooden houses. I only have this storage cart here. Fishing is kind of far away because any fisherman will have to walk from the lake or the river back here towards the storage cart, as I do not like to have to build a barn this early on. But this place over here looks like it could fit a gatherer quite nicely. So let's start off. Oh, beautiful. Maybe not 100% perfect, but it's close to it. One gatherer coming right up, right here. That will be the food. The gatherer will be right across the way from, oh come on, I hate when this happens. Here we go. Right across the street, right across the road from a forester's lodge. Or maybe in this case it should go right next to it, like so. Now I will pause the forester's lodge as I do not need it in the beginning, but I do need this gatherer's hut. in order to speed up the building of it, first thing I'm going to do is place a stockpile right next to it. And it is going to receive the highest priority for building. Now, after the which, I am going to take the remove resources and go over the area where I will be building. Now, all the resources that get removed are going to be placed on the stockpile that's going to be built first, and from those resources I will build the gatherer's hut. For that, I will obviously need 3 builders, and the laborers should be able to help out with the clearing. Now let's speed this up, because this usually takes some time. Here we go, you saw it, stockpile was built first. Now they are taking those resources and placing them onto the gatherer's hut plot. And in a very short amount of time, this is going to be built. Unless there is some sort of an issue here. Not enough stone, I suppose? Yep, must be it. Collect the stone. Must have not had enough stone in the area that I designated for clearing. But that should be fixed right about now. There we go. Easy fix. Now that I already have enough resources for the gatherer's hut, the builders will continue building this, while I will have the laborers start getting the resources to the new housing that I'm going to need. Now the housing should be on the edge of the gatherer's range. This can be annoying, so I'll pin it. There we go, there's the line, and that's where I will have the homes. I have noticed that if you turn the homes to each other, you save yourself one spot where the road goes through. If you were to have it like this, you see that you would use up one more space, or should I say 4 squares in a line, as you can see here. So if you turn them onto each other, you get this space free of charge. You can get a road threaded through there. Now, because I will have the gatherers move towards this storage cart in the beginning, I will instantly give them a road to speed them up. Now, because they are probably not going to use a road like that, I'm going to have to change it up a little bit. Now, whenever you have something pinned, it is going to sometimes create problems when you are using the road tool or the gathering tool, so it's best to turn it off. There we go. Now the laborers and the builders have their jobs. I should increase the number of builders to 7. And they will pick up more resources as necessary for these homes. Logs 57, stone 40. That should be enough for several homes. The gatherer's hut is already built. That was fast, probably because I'm at speed 10. Should probably slow down a bit and go up to 2 or more gatherers. But for that I need to reduce the builders, as they have just become available as they have finished the gatherer's hut. Go up, I won't go up to 4 because honestly it's not necessary. The gatherer's hut produces a hell of a lot of food, so 3 will be enough. But in order to have it as efficient as possible, there is one thing that you need to do: remove all the stone and all the iron that is in its range, because once those resources are removed, instead of them you can grow more trees, and more trees will grow you more collection nodes for food that the gatherer can collect. Almost no iron here, quite interesting. And the iron that there is here is completely out of its range, although I will need some of that iron. Maybe there is closer iron over here. Yes, there is. so I shall not be collecting the iron from down here. Maybe just a little bit that's in this range here. Okay, so we already have a home built. This one is in its last stage of getting enough resources, and now I should get some more. Now let's just see where's the edge. Here it is. So yes, another home will go like this on the back of this home, and then the next turned onto its place, and the road threaded through here. The road is already set. They don't use the road that much because I haven't really hit the mark exactly how they're gonna use it, but they at least use it onto this spot here. You can already see a lot of logs, stone and iron collected on this stockpile. Now, if I want to build a lot up here, I can just collect these resources and not make them go to the stockpile and bring them up there by having another stockpile here. And that is something you should remember to do often when you're starting and have a lot of resources to collect from the ground, to have lots of stockpiles. Because if you leave the stockpile here full of resources and your villagers go and start building up there, they're not going to collect those resources, and even if you set them for collection and you didn't build a stockpile, they're still going to take them all the way here. But if you have a new stockpile next to your new building site, they're going to drop them there and have a faster construction, as you saw with my first gatherer's hut. When mentioning that, I should probably pin it and see just how much food they end up producing. It was built in, what was it, spring, late spring, so it should bring in at least 1,000 or more food. Let's see, I already have a child that went and became an adult laborer, so 4 houses are not going to be enough anymore. I am going to require another one. Now, do I wish to keep building here? Well, the gatherer's hut requires 4 workers to be at full efficiency, and that means 2 homes. The forester's lodge requires 4 as well, that's another 2 homes, so that's 4 of these homes. I will also need a herbalist here and a hunter, therefore more homes is okay to be built here, right outside of this area of effect of the gatherer's hut, and probably the forester's as well. Yep. So another home here is no problem. Do I have the resource for it? Oh, definitely. Actually, no, I am running low on wood, on logs, so I shall have to get some. That was probably what this thing was telling me. Logs is low. I really should try and keep track of this thing. So let's... Why did I start using the mouse again? Stockpile, let's say behind this home here. Or maybe, better yet, over here, as this is going to be a place where I will have my woodcutter. And it doesn't really require building because it was set on already emptied ground. So a stockpile is already ready to take in more trees, which I will harvest from the surrounding area. You can increase the number of builders to 6 because they will most likely be collecting more resources, but as this home has been built, it went down to 4, so I'm okay with 2, 4 and 3 gatherers. I'm mentioning the gatherers, 300, 500, 600, 700 plus already. Like I said, they are very good at their jobs. I already have some resources piling up of this new stockpile, while the old one will be very well used to build forester's lodge, hunting cabin and the herbalist. But before a herbalist is necessary, tools are necessary. That requires a blacksmith, but I still do not have enough firewood So the thing that I am going to need is a woodcutter. Although I have noticed that you can actually survive the first winter without any new wood, but that will probably reduce my villagers' happiness by reducing their warmth and reduce their health, so it may not be the best of ideas. Now this area is a little bit big for a woodcutter, plus I have this storage cart in the way, so I may actually build the woodcutter up here. So let's keep him here. Now I have 9 adults and 5 homes, so they all have their places. This is a female, Natasha Hannon, if I read that correctly. She should have a male, Harmond, to join her very soon. She won't be alone for long. Builders down to 3, laborers up to 3 now, but that's probably not even something I really have to change, because at this early on you don't really have to micromanage this too much. You just leave a few builders in, and if they do not have anything to build, they will just collect resources. It's a pretty cool system. Now food is at 300, but that's okay because all of these homes are supplied with food. It's just the food at the storage cart that is low. And like I said, Harmond moved in with Natasha Hannon, whatever. So no firewood, and it's early winter, so yeah, I was kinda late in getting them to build a woodcutter. And why was that? Well, because I forgot to use the increase priority tool. They kept cutting down woodlands and bringing stone instead of finishing the woodcutter. My bad. But like I said, it is easy to survive the first winter without new firewood. Now, could it be because I'm playing on mild climate and not harsh? Very possible. And it is something I have no doubt you guys are going to be able to tell me in the comment section. Now 45 iron, 32 logs, 79 stone here, while over here 24 iron, 2 logs and 125 stones. So they pretty much collected all the stone from this area, which is awesome because now the forester has more room to plant trees. I'm going to unpause it and have the builders make him. Will I need more trees? Well, there are plenty of logs up here. Actually not that many, and the woodcutter is going to start using them, so I may actually have to cut down some new logs over here. Once I finish building all the 4 buildings that I want to have here, I'm going to demolish the stockpile, because I want my foresters, who usually end up capping their log amount very fast, use their free time to get the logs to this stockpile, because the woodcutter needs all the efficiency he can get to supply enough firewood for the villagers and for trading. I'm low with food, but I have picked up 550, 850, 950, 1250, 1450. And yet they say low on food. Well, it's low on food, but probably all the homes have food. So once again, that's something like a false positive, you could call it. 11 adults, yet I only have 5 homes. Means it's time for a new home. I am going to keep threading this road through here and add a new house. Now the woodcutter is making sure I have enough firewood, and because it's now late winter and it's also soon going to be summer, I have no worries that everybody is warm enough. The forester's lodge is soon to be completed, and because I have a few more adults now, 12, I will have enough villagers to have 2 guys working at the forester's lodge. I'm going to reduce the limit on logs to just around 50 because I do not wish them to cut down too many of these trees as they are required for the gatherers to have a high yield. So a limit of 50, well, I will keep cutting these trees down here, up here I mean, and therefore the foresters are not going to touch those trees until the new ones grow, as I will be kept out with logs by cutting down these forests. Oops, and these. Now, as I have more and more houses, I should increase gatherers to 4. Builders aren't doing anything at the moment, but I will probably have soon kids that could move into with each other. So this child female is 8, this child male is 6, so in about a year they will need a new house. Well, that means that that's not something that I need very soon, but what I do need very soon is a blacksmith. As more and more villagers become adults, they pick up more tools and the old villagers start breaking the tools. So a blacksmith is definitely a requirement. So it will go here. I'll keep pulling these roads towards the side of the village. Well, this road I think has reached his limit, or maybe not. There is room for one more house just here, but for now it will be paused. Also, over here it's time to build a hunting cabin. Also, it's gonna get paused because I do not yet actually need it, I just want to place it on time. There's the hunting cabin. Oops, let's pause it. Blacksmith is almost finished and he's gonna need lots of iron, but lots of iron is available, so no worries about this. What's the next thing that I need? Well, after losing the tools, I'm going to lose the coats. In order to get more coats, I will need leather. To get leather, I will need a hunting cabin. So that is the next building that needs to be built. So I'm pausing the hunter's cabin. Is there enough logs close by? 34 requires 20. Not enough, obviously. So let's cut down a few of these trees. The woodcutter is already at the fuel limit of 200, which I will increase to 300 as I plan to have more housing. The villagers are making lots of babies and it is excellent news. This male and this female will need a new home soon so they can start making babies as well. So as soon as the hunting cabin is finished, I will unpause the wooden house, which I actually can unpause already as the hunting cabin seems to almost have all the required resources. Might just need to make sure that it's done first, so increase the priority on it. I did not seem to cut enough logs down. Missed it by a few. That should do the trick. The wooden house is getting supplied by the resources from here, and the number of logs has gone down dramatically as I have chopped a lot for firewood and used a lot for buildings. So more, and more. Chop down, chop down, chop down. There we go, the hunting cabin being built. Now, one thing that I'm going to test out is just how efficient can be just one hunter per hunting cabin. This is something I've read about. People say that even one hunter could be very efficient, so I'm going to see just how much can one hunter do in a year. So let's remember it was late summer when it started to work. Let's see what happens at year 3 late summer and how much venison am I going to have. So what is next? As the leather comes in, I'm going to need a tailor, but before that I already have a few more mouths to feed and more housing on the way, so one gatherer, even though it is a high producer, might start being not enough. So hopefully a hunting cabin, there we go, already 200 venison should supplement that. But my health is already down to just 4 hearts. This is mostly because my villagers were only eating potatoes for a while and only now have more variety from the gatherer's hut. But in order to get that health up right now and make sure to have lots of healthy children, I am going to get myself a herbalist. It only requires one worker to be pretty efficient, so it's not a big deal. Thread the road through here. I still keep going for the mouse instead of the keyboard keys, which tends to annoy me. I didn't quite get the spacing here right, but that's okay. Let's see, 13 adults and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 homes. So that is particularly good. Darren is going to move in with Helly. And they are going to start making babies, which is excellent news. Now, the blacksmith should not produce way too many tools in the beginning, so I will limit him at 25. I remember what happened the last time when I limited to 12, so I will try not to do the same mistake again. I do see some trees left over here, stone left over here, so I should probably pick that stuff up. And like I said, you see, now I have a problem with the resource collection tool because I have this hunting cabin pinned. Now, as I have more and more stuff coming in, the storage cart is pretty much full. It is definitely a time to get a storage barn, which can take up a lot more resources. Now, where should I put it? Well, it could fit snugly here, but I would like to keep it very close to the food producers, so that is why it is gonna go here. Right behind the woodcutter. And when I'm talking about the woodcutter, he has enough logs to keep producing firewood. I'm good with stone, iron, tools, but no warm clothes. So once the herbalist is done, oh, it's already done. Reduce the number. God damn it. I have to close this window. Once it's done, reduce to just 1 and increase to 1 in total. Now I'm going to have some herbs and the health should go up. Now this node is pretty much completed. I have hunting cabin, gatherer's hut, forester's lodge, and the herbalist. It is the time to get the stockpile removed. As there is a lot of resources to be moved and there is lots of room here, I probably don't have to do anything, but I'll see what happens. I am running out of logs once again. That's quite interesting. But you did see a lot of foresters coming in, picking the logs up from the foresters and bringing it to the stockpile. That is working as I hoped it would. Well, I am also running out of iron, so I definitely need more logs and more iron. Means more chopping down for my laborers and anybody else who's acting as a laborer. Pick up the iron. Lots of iron close by, which is awesome. All the iron here has been picked up. And the storage cart is already overflowing, as you can see, because they're leaving these baskets right here. So it is a good point that I have just finished the storage barn. I now have 14 adults. Haley has moved, Darren actually has moved in with Haley. They should start popping out babies. Do I need a new house? So this child is 7, a male, and the only females are 5 years old. So no houses that are required at the moment. But I still do not have enough logs. Well, in that case, should definitely increase the number of foresters to 3, but cut down some logs manually. Although I'm pretty sure I already set all these trees to be cut down, so I just actually have to wait for it to happen. The woodcutter doesn't really have anything to do until he gets logs. The blacksmith is already at the limit. But my laborers are probably busy moving the resources from this stockpile to the other, so as this is finished, they should start chopping down trees more regularly. Is my food situation okay? It is, and let's check on the hunter. How much did he produce? Just 200, and it's early spring, so one hunter was not very efficient. Let's see what will 2 hunters do. That's an eyesore right there. Firewood is okay. Well, it is a fair, not even a fair, it is a mild climate, so not a whole lot of firewood is burned during the winter, as the temperatures are not that low. Stone is okay, iron is okay, logs are bad as usual, firewood is plentiful. So just have to wait for more logs to come in. Did anybody become an adult? Not yet. 8-year-old male, 7-year-old male, 6-year-old female, and another 6-year-old female. So I see that a house is in order. Now, do I need more? Well, let's see. Half a house at 3, that's 1.5 house, so that's 2 homes, plus 2, that's 4, and plus 2, that will be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. While the woodcutter and the blacksmith require this one, and that makes 7. So if I want to expand the housing, I need to see where they would work. But I will leave this for the next episode. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more.